Hello everyone, it's me Kelly, and today we're gonna have a bit of fun with actually a review of the LAV 150. Well, let me start. Armor, this thing doesn't have any armor. 12mm, 40mm if you're lucky, against HE shots, will not give you any kind of protection whatsoever. So, at least it has some speed, right? Well, this is actually your first wheeled vehicle that you're gonna encounter in the game. And unlike M113, which has tracks, this thing has a problem with steering on certain kind of surfaces. And it can bounce a lot. You know, just go over the train tracks, maximum speed, and you might find yourself spinning out of control. So keep that in mind when driving this thing, though. While we add speed, let's just mention the maximum speed of this thing is 66 km per hour with 0 to 32 is under 3 seconds, so this thing can accelerate pretty fast. But let me just check out its competitor, which can accelerate a bit faster. Yeah. Second stuff I want to talk about is actually the gun. 28 shells in the gun, and with the loadout that went like this: AP rounds and high explosive rounds. Why is this kind of loadout? Well, this is actually my playing philosophy with this tank. This tank is mostly a scout. So when you counter main battle tanks, you're gonna have to go around them, use your speed and your acceleration to get behind them and pump the shots into the engine. Or if you have to face them frontally, which is rare, and I must admit, don't go frontal against an enemy main battle tank with your armored fight vehicles. You use only these things just to provoke the enemy. So that's about the gun and all the stuff. Let me just tell you about the gun, that it has aim time of 2.28, which is not bad for armored fighting vehicles, and turret traverse 47 degrees, which is average, let's say. Well, it's better than the main battle tanks, but it's worse. Let's say if you're gonna come across against the main, let's say, light tank, it can turn the turret pretty fast around. They can catch you, so don't rely on it too much. The gun dispersion, you have -8 degrees frontally and -6 on your backside. So that's the little stuff. Now I said this thing is a scout. Your range is 495 meters, which is good. But when I compare it to the M113 without that coated optics option, that thing, LAV150, without the coated optics option, that has 13 meters plus on its base view range, I can say one M113 is looking quite nice compared to it, you know. And you know, what else can I tell you about this thing is actually that it has a bit worse camo rating than M113. But compared to the better view range, with retrofits on, it can compete. Let's say it's just a little competitive. Of course, let me compare you the guns as well. 29 damage, 92 penetration, and 69 millimeters. So the gun is actually worse on the M113 than it is on the LAV, which is a good stuff if you want to keep this thing at tier 2. Though, that's my personal opinion, I think it should be the other way around. These two tanks should just switch their positions, and give the better gun on the M113, along with the retrofits. If you give it like that, at least this thing can remain a very good tier 2. Unfortunately, this thing is just average at best. It's not like the Dragoon, the wheeled vehicles, or your Foxes, which you're gonna encounter on tier 5. So, if you're wondering what kind of skills do you need for your crew, let me just tell you: off-road driving, because you need the acceleration, and I went for the rapid fire because this thing doesn't rely too much on its penetration, and the gun itself is not a devastating alpha damage. You need rate of fire, you need to get behind your opponents, or to pepper the light tanks with the light rate of fire, actually, to penetrate them pretty fast, strike hard, bruise damage, get out. That's your secondary role though. Your primary role is to stay on the distance and spot for the enemy and mark them with your ability. The commander that I'm choosing is Sabrina Washington because it's an ideal commander for this tank. Sorry, armor fighting vehicle. Yeah. Okay, now, I think I talked enough about the stats in the garage. Hit points though? Yeah, who needs hit points? 745 compared to the 950, so this thing on the hit points is just a bit too weak. So it doesn't take any shots at all. It can be destroyed with 2 heat rounds. Just keep in mind of those stats when you're driving this vehicle around. Now let me show you how this thing handles in battle. And let's see, this time we're gonna get something like oh, this map, okay. Now, let me tell you something about this map. You can go a couple of roads on it. BC line through the town, A line on the north, and H line near the bridges, and also the I line, HI. And another route that can only be used by, at this moment, only the lightly armored fighting vehicles, and that route is definitely used to surprise your enemy. Why only armored fighting vehicles? Because they can withstand up to 20 seconds below the water. Yep, you're gonna go under it, and you're gonna swim a lot. But if you manage to get on the other side of the map without drowning, you may have a perfect surprise on the enemy. As for the lightly tank rushing, or the armored fighting vehicle rush. So, what I'm gonna do now is actually, I'm gonna go somewhere around the bridges, do some spotting. You know, just regular stuff, nothing too serious to worry about. Yeah, famous last words. What I'm actually going to do is gonna be a passive behavior. Well, not mostly passive, but semi-active. The one of kind of gameplays that I don't like actually to do. But in this vehicle you are forced to do it. And mostly in your armored fighting vehicles that have only the machine gun, later like BBL, Weasel, and all the similar stuff, you have to be a bit passive before deciding when to strike and when to go in, or at least drive around and mark the enemy targets, which is a first thing that you're going to learn by using your LAV 150. Armor fighting vehicles who mark and designate the enemy targets are the best fighting vehicles and the best players of the fighting vehicles. Of course, from time to time you can use the opportunity to shoot at the unaware lightly tanks. So the enemy that's slightly armored and doesn't pay much attention can easily become your prey. Same for the high tier lightly armored vehicles, and same for the low tier armored vehicle like the LAV. But keep in mind when you get spotted not to stick around in one place, because you can be an easy target for the enemy. So what I'm gonna do over here is try to spot the enemy yet again and try to designate the targets. And I'm keeping AP ammo because I wanna get that XM and spot the T-62. So my direct intervention of T-62 is not damage, but only spotting. And for this guy, my goal is to damage him. This guy is a nightmare, it has the same view range if not better, and I need to get him out of the game before he can destroy me and relay my position to the others. Also, he can do one stuff, that is actually spotting my own team and relaying the information to the enemy team to get us. And as you see over there, as I get spotted, one shot into me, and it takes a lot of my HP. Well, as I said before, this thing doesn't take shots very well. Luckily I was hit by an AP round. If that was a hit, it would go up to 400 damage definitely. I'm gonna show you right now a little secret that every armored fighting vehicle should know about this map. As said before, because armored fighting vehicles can hold their breath for next 20 seconds underwater, I'm gonna do a little bit of mistake, go too much right on this part, and I need to correct that, as you're gonna see by my tank moving around, because I need to climb actually over here and get out before I get drowned. So this is the secret that you and I are gonna share. This is the route for the armored fighting vehicles to launch a surprise attack, if they are clever enough. But also be careful not to drown. If you drown, you're gonna just signal the enemy where you are. And the surprise attack can easily work, and this gun can have enough penetration to do damage on the main battle tanks if they get caught side on. So, there is one. I'm gonna pull back, though I must warn you about that route before. If the map has some changes, or the map changes in the meantime, keep in mind this tactic might not work, so I trust that you're gonna be observant on the forums. Meanwhile, I'm gonna exchange fire with that Scorpion, which is a very bad idea. My primary system is to do much more damage before taking a shot from him. And you're gonna see why. And the Scorpion has high explosive ammo, which can roll pretty high and pretty low, while my damage is consistent, as you can see over here. Mostly consistent. I'm not overmatching too much. So, for my first salvo, he's almost down to less than half HP. He managed to do 2 shots into me. I barely survived the second shot, luckily to the bad RNG on his side, and I got him with my next round of bullets. So, LAV 150. Good scout, doesn't take damage very well. Rapid fire gun, not as rapid as a tier 1 gun, but decent enough to do the job. And it has wheels instead of tracks. All combined with that thing, those things, yeah, you can do some stuff with this thing, but I don't recommend going toe to toe against any of them. So if you are solo, you are basically mostly dead. And if you have backup, or you are cunning enough, you can do decent like this. 3rd place with damage and experience points, which is not bad, considering it was a tier 3 game. So, I hope that all of this managed to provide some insight how to play armored fighting vehicles and how to play with the LAV 150 especially. In the end, like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll catch you all next time. Till then, see you all.